Gentlemen, when we are live,
Yep.
they get to see me finishing my bowl of food on the because there's a delay. I forgot about that.
Oh.
It's all good. They get to catch the front end.
The most unprofessional live intro known to YouTube.
It's awesome.
It's terrible.
Well, because there's a delay and it's funny. I'm like watching it happen. Anyway, what's good, y'all? Let's get to the sponsors before we do. I guess because we've been talking about doing this for a while and we just haven't done it consistently. Let's introduce ourselves. I'm Damani, the founder of the Drum Tracks app, and we got I guess if you're looking at the screen to your right is drum coach Samadi, who is the co-founder with the Drum Tracks app, and underneath is our special guest. But we'll get to him in a second. We're gonna hit these sponsors, and then we're gonna do a proper intro for our special guest. Let's get into it.
Shout out to our sponsors.
You know what it is.
Sticks play alongside.
No.
Finish. Formerly known as Sticks Play Alongside.
No, we're not doing that. Not today.
Now, Drum Tracks app. I know there's a lot of you who are complaining that it's not as many tracks as it was for Sticks Play Along. We had 6,000 tracks.
Wow.
But
Wow.
as you know,
I agree.
app development.
I agree.
Yeah, when it comes to app development, some things take longer. It takes longer time to get it all up and running. So don't worry, they're still coming. They're on the way. But right now, we're working with somewhere around 160, 170 play-alongs that you can stream for free. As long as you have a mobile connection, like mobile data plan or a Wi-Fi connection, you should be good to stream for free. However, if you want access to video lessons, if you want access to workouts like camps, shed camp, modified shed camp, our newest one, the Do the Work Camp, which is a 2-week program that'll help you get faster around the kit, bring more confidence around the kit, and you will be learning musical applicated things that you can apply to music. My bad. I said musical.
Wow, you butchered that.
Musical application. You know what I'm trying to say.
Wow.
The workouts that we use in these workouts, these moves that we do, they are musical workouts. It's not just like doing push-ups or doing sit-ups. It's actually doing game time movements. For those of you who are sports players of any kind, you know what I'm talking about. It's not just about strength training. It's about training to do what you are supposed to do.
Yes, sir.
You can be the strongest man in the world, but can't tackle nobody.
And that's just the problem.
So we're training you how to tackle people. We're training you how to shoot a ball, how to hit a baseball, but we're doing it with drums. So therefore, after these workouts, you will be able to apply some of these aspects of what you're learning to music because, we're musicians first. But in order to get access to that and to be able to download 5 free tracks every single month, you have to pay for the membership. $10 a month or $120 per year. My bad. $100 per year. Because you save that $20, you get 2 months free. So go ahead and sign up for the premium membership. Quit catting off. We appreciate all of you free members, but we enjoy even more the tithe and offering givers.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, tithe. Now let's get on to our guest. As Damani has mentioned, he is below us, right? He's at the bottom of the screen.
Yes.
Correct.
His name, and I'm gonna pronounce it correctly. Jasiel. Jasiel. My bad. I started off wrong. Jasiel Maoz with a Z.
All the way from Nairobi, Kenya. We are talking to somebody in the future.
You already know what it is. Because it is. We are talking to somebody that's in Monday. Okay. It is 2:09 p.m. right now. Jasiel,
that's true.
What time is it where you're at right now, Jasiel?
It's 12:08 a.m.
It's quiet.
What's the date?
It's Monday, 18th.
Oh, well, it's still the 17th over here, so I guess Sticks, you were right. He is actually talking back to the future while we are in the past. Now, he's a drummer from Nairobi, Kenya. He plays at church. He plays also for a band called, I'm going to go ahead and let you pronounce that.
Kaskazini.
That's the name of the band.
Yes.
He's a student at the United States International University, and he's hoping to pursue music full-time and loves the Drum Tracks app. Yo, shout out to you, Jasiel. Thank you for being our guest today, man. We really are glad to have you. We're excited to have a drummer from the international community of the Drum Tracks app fam, knowing that you are a Drum Tracks user. And, man, like, I've been watching your Instagram videos. I got questions. I got questions for you. No, here's my first question, because a lot of the videos that I've seen, and I'm getting ahead of myself because I do want to get back to your origin story, but I want to ask this question right now.
Okay.
In the videos that I saw of you playing, you do a lot of hi-hat work with your left hand, and you play open hand in a lot of your videos. Are you left-handed?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay,
yes, I am.
cool. So you are left-handed, and you do lead with your left hand on the hi-hat.
Yeah,
I also saw you playing,
especially
when you was playing an Afrobeat groove, and you had one groove where the time was like, you was doing this kind of triplet laid back groove with the right hand, but the kick and the snare was dead on, and I was like, yo, that is fire. And then you were doing it with your left hand, but then I saw you playing like a groove from like a gospel song in the United States, and you were playing like standard with your right hand over your left, and so I was like, is he left-handed or is he just ambidextrous or what's going on here?
No. I'm left-handed. So how I started playing, when I was taught how to play, the person who was teaching me is right-handed. So, and he really emphasized on me playing cross stick. And shout out to him. He's called Steve. He's a pastor now.
Awesome.
So he taught me how to play like that. But when I started playing, it was really a struggle because I couldn't coordinate, and I'm trying playing that the basic groove that everyone learns. So I had to switch it up, and when I did it subconsciously. So when I did, it just happened to work.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do it like that. So I think ever since I've never looked back. So
I think that's dope though, because a lot of times drummers, you know, we may get taught a certain thing and it may not be natural to us. It may not be comfortable for us. It may not be the best way for us to try to do something. But you intuitively was like, let me make the switch, and kind of listening to your body, where it didn't take away from the groove. It didn't take away from anything. You were just like, yo, this actually works for me.
So, yeah, it has its setbacks, because sometimes when you're trying to learn something that you've seen a right-handed person do, and of course moving around the kit, at first it's hard, so I had to teach myself how to lead with my right hand.
Gotcha.
So that I'm able to play everything on the set, because mostly I'd play the hi-hat, kick, snare, and the fast tom, and there would be this crossover weird flow tom thing going on. So
have you ever considered setting your drum kit up the other way? Because I've seen left-handed drummers set their kits up backwards so that they can get around the other way, leading that way.
Well, people suggested it to me and told me, "Hey, what do you think? What do you think of it?" But the biggest problem was I was learning in church, and so the only time I had for practicing was right before service started.
Oh.
And you're not gonna let the drummer switch up the whole kit again before service. So I just had to adapt and move with what was there. So
that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's how I started.
So how old were you when you started?
Around 11, 12.
Okay. So I mean, I started only a little bit younger than that. I was maybe 10. I was already fantasizing about being a drummer before that and beating on stuff. But around the time I got my first drum kit was around 9, 10 years old. So most people would consider us to be late starters, because there's a lot of people who start when they're 2 and 3 years old. But what made you want to play the drums?
I've always loved beats ever since I was a kid. Grooves would always stick out for me in songs. I'd always remember a song because of the groove. So I'm listening to a song, and when it's playing in my head, the groove is just sticking out for me. Always. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But mostly it would be the groove. So
people are singing
how
the
I actually
singing the drum beat, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Just a boom, 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 boom. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So after a short while, that was when I was really, really young. I really can't remember when. But after some time in school, junior school, we call it primary school here, I was playing on my desk, you know? So I started playing with the pen, and my hand is the bass drum. So you're... So slowly by slowly, then now that's when the interest started growing more and more. And then I was like, you know, I really like the drums. And just decided, well, let me go try. So during the time I was starting out to play, a lot of kids were not being allowed to touch the kit. So I was fortunate enough to get that opportunity because kids were seen as people who would spoil instruments, you know. So whenever service is there, and guys would just be like, no, please, no. Kids, no. So I was fortunate enough to get people who are kind enough to allow me to play the drums, and they never told me not to. I sounded like crap, I know, but they never told me to stop. So I'm happy and grateful for that.
And at any point, did you have like a formal teacher who sat down with you for like a lesson every week, or did you just kind of continue to learn on your own at church?
No, never a formal teacher. Okay. Just YouTube, and listening to people. So yeah, I've never gone to formal school for music.
So if you were watching YouTube when you were coming up, who were some of your favorite drum YouTube channels or YouTube videos to follow?
Okay. Well, when I started out, I didn't know about YouTube drumming, so it took me a while before I actually figured out. But when I was 15.
Get him off the podcast, man. Get him off.
What happened? What's going on?
He didn't know. He been following us, but he didn't know. First, he started off like, "Oh man, I've been following y'all since." But now you don't know.
No, but we may have been someone that he watched, but who else? Like he may have watched some other people, or he may not have saw us first. He may have saw someone else. So I'm interested. Who was he? Who were you?
That's why he's supporting Mr. Sullivan's shirt. Okay, but he ain't supporting our shirt. He got pocket on there. Now we ain't got no apparel, but that ain't the point. Okay. Shout out to Jay Sullivan, man. He's raw on the drums.
Right. And then
we're
gonna have to figure out a way to keep Sticks from getting angry every podcast.
Art Sullivan is a beast. Shout out to Mr. Sullivan. He's a monster.
That's true. So the first drummers I got exposed to were Big Mike Clemons.
Oh, okay. No, that was Gospel Chops days, but yeah, he wasn't on Gospel Chops. I don't think, was he?
No,
I don't think he was.
So, Big Mike Clemons, Calvin Rogers was another one. Mostly those were the only two I knew, because again, where we were, music wasn't. Or where I was, let me talk about myself individually. Music, I wasn't exposed so much, and nobody told me to listen to someone else. The only person I was told to listen to was Calvin. I remember.
I mean, it's not a bad suggestion. When anybody ever says, "Hey, you should listen to Calvin Rogers," I think our last podcast we told people to listen to Calvin Rogers, and the podcast before that. And the podcast before that was a good. If they didn't have no one else to tell you to listen to, they pointed you to someone.
Yeah, but those are the only two. Plus, and also Jared Falk for Drumio, because I wanted to learn drums and practical stuff. Then now I bumped into you guys like 5 years ago. Okay, is when I learned about you guys. So with the Sticks video, the Drum Feel Friday, the Aaron Spears inspired lick.
That's the one that got everybody. That is.
Oh, my God, man, that was the video, man. This video, is a 30-second not chop video.
Yes, sir.
I was just like, man, oh.
Caps.
I'm never gonna be able to live that one down. People are still playing it. That was our first Drum Fill Friday, where the drummer who we were inspired by commented and reposted. Aaron, he went on there, commented, and then reposted it on Twitter. That was our first one, and then the next one was Eric, because that's the homie. When we did his inspired lyric, of course he reposted, but then he also came in and did it himself. And then when we did the Jerome Flood, he reposted his as well. So those are the three. But Aaron was the first one. We didn't think that he would have seen it. Yeah. That was our wake up call as far as making sure we put out excellent material. Because at first we was kind of like, well, it's just for the fans. We ain't got to be too anal. Like, of course, we want to play it right.
Yeah.
But we wasn't putting pressure on ourselves. Kind of like, hey, listen, this is for the fans. Like, hey, here you go. But when we saw that people who are above us are watching it, no lie, not talking bad about the fans. I'm not belittling the fans. But there is a sort of pressure you do put on your own shoulders. Like, hold on, wait a minute. They're watching this now. A lot, like, these people are reposting it now, and they have a bigger following. So there's going to be more people to see this. We got to make sure we was already trying to be good, but we got to make sure we are excellent.
Yeah. That's the same way I feel right now when he was talking about my Afrobeat groove. I'm just like, man, I got to be excellent right now. Like,
no, it was
there's no way I'm going back.
Because when you first start, it's just family and friends, and they love everything you do. They're just like, oh, yeah.
That's true.
And then you get on a platform where there's multiple drummers who know when you mess up.
Yes. Like, they're
drummers themselves, like, oh, he wasn't trying to do that. I can tell because I'm a drummer. That's when the pressure settles. Like, oh, wait a minute. You know what I was going for, and it sounded a mess. That's just terrible. I got to practice.
Especially if you're trying not to embarrass yourself. If you don't care, you don't mind being embarrassed, you'll be all right. But if you don't want to embarrass yourself, then you're kind of like, nah, let's not be trash out here today or tomorrow. So, I mean, that's
true.
So you said that you started playing in church. You were growing up playing in church. You still play in church today. At what age did you actually get to play your first Sunday morning service where you got like, because when you play, at least here in the States, when you're growing up in church and you're playing the drums, playing Sunday morning service is like the Super Bowl. It's like there's no higher pinnacle than Sunday morning service when you're a kid.
I think it's same everywhere.
Oh, it's the same.
I think it's same everywhere.
So at what age did you get to actually, for the first time, get on the drums and play for the adult choir, right? When you were coming up, at what age?
Adult choir. Whoa.
Or just playing the whole service. Were you like the main drummer for that service?
I think I was probably 14 or 15.
I was around the same age. You was probably. For me, I was hyped. I couldn't even. But anyway, go ahead.
You know, yeah, and I couldn't sleep that Saturday evening because you're just like, man, when is Sunday going to come? Like, yo,
yeah,
Sunday. It's midnight. You're just there, like, gosh, I'm waiting for 5 o'clock or 6 to wake up and go and play. And us guys had 3 services, so it was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah,
that had to be. When you played that first service that Sunday, how did you do? Did you do good or did you bomb it?
Well,
we're about to get a good story here. I can feel it.
Well, I'm not so sure, but
that's the. I don't really want to tell the truth about this story, but I'm gonna say. Listen, I remember, like, bro, we all bombed at church. Like, you get on and it's just it's just a terrible thing. I mean, I know you've heard us talk about getting raised up. Do they do that in Nairobi, Kenya?
Yes.
Will you get raised up in the middle?
Yeah.
They do that.
Oh, well, no. They don't. But they'll tell you in a nice way. Like for me, what happened to me, someone told me to come and play service for the youth church at some point. So I used to go, but I was so bad because I never used to concentrate when I'm playing. So I used to get distracted easily and stuff. So people would finish a song
by the alto section,
and I'd finish after them.
Wow.
So
they would end the song and you would still be playing.
Like, bro, what you doing? Look, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Jeez.
One day they just told me, one day I went for service and I was supposed to play. Then I found a drummer killing, you know? And I'm just like, oh. Then I told him, hey, what's up? I'm the one supposed to be playing here. So do you mind moving so that I can do sound check with these guys? Then he told me, I'm sorry, you weren't here for rehearsal, so you're not playing.
Wow.
Then that's how.
Funny
enough, he's my friend right now. So shout out to him, Kevin.
Wow. You had to go sit down with that very crunchy feeling of feeling like doggone it.
Yo, I cried that day.
Wow.
I cried and I told myself, never is someone chucking me from the kit.
Man,
I cried. I really did.
Yeah.
But
listen,
there was so much to learn.
Yeah. How old would you say at this point when that happened?
I was still around the same age, 15, because I think I was like one of the youngest people then playing around my area. So I think guys were like, oh, he might actually be a good drummer one day. So they never really dismissed me, but they kept me somewhere. It's like, oh, this guy might, maybe if he continues, he'll be good. So,
yeah, man. I remember there was a person who went to the church that I grew up at who came up to me after. So like I played for the offering on a Sunday one time, and afterwards, one of the people who he didn't sing in the choir anymore, but he used to sing in the choir, and he was just sitting in the church. Afterwards, I went outside to get some water. Well, like right outside the sanctuary to get some water. And he came all the way out there to tell me to my face, bro, you just ruined that whole song. Like the whole song was ruined. What are you doing? Every time you hit the cymbals, it just makes me sick. Like, why are you even up there? Like, I'm sitting there like, and I'm looking at him. I definitely didn't cry, but I was just looking at him, and every now and then, to this day, I could see his face. In that moment, I just be like, bro, I'm so glad I never listened to you. Cause like at the church that I grew up at, they would send you could listen to the songs that you're getting ready to play. However, if you played them like the recording and you hit the cymbals where they hit the cymbals, it was a problem because they don't want all them cymbals ringing everywhere.
Oh,
but on the recording, he's smashing. Then he's doing all of this, but it just depends on where you at and what they were trying to do. But hey, I grew up in a church where the music was like terrible all the time. Like it was just.
Was it Kojic or something?
No, it wasn't Kojic. It was apostolic church, Pentecostal church, but we didn't know. See, the thing is, I didn't know it was that bad when I was growing up. It took me leaving to realize how bad things were the whole time. Like I would hear, like one time I went to a conference and a convention, and I heard a choir play a song that we used to do at my church. And I used to be like, when the music started, I was like, oh, this is really good. This is dope. And then they started singing the words, and I was like, I know the lyrics to this song. We do this at my church. It doesn't sound anything like this. Then I go listen to the original recording and realize that the way they were playing it at the convention is how the song actually goes. And the way we've been doing it is a half-shammed Mickey Mouse version of these. But if you didn't know that, right? If you weren't exposed to what the real was, then you didn't even know that you was garbage and that everybody was happy with the trash. When really we should have took the trash out. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that type of thing that happened for a while. But yeah. I mean, apparently you weren't in that situation. That was just me. It is,
man.
It is what it is. Now you say you do have a band that you play with, and I saw some of your YouTube Instagram videos where you guys are playing shows outside at like a festival type situation and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Tell me more about your band. What kind of band is it? What kind of music do you guys like to play?
Kaskazini is it's a well, it's a local band from Kenya. We do contemporary Kenyan music, and yeah. So most of the songs are in Swahili and relate also to the culture here and stuff. You can actually check the videos out on YouTube. Just type Kaskazini.
Is it cover music, or do you guys write all of the original? Do you write all the music yourselves?
Yeah, original music. Yeah.
Dope.
I know Somali here doesn't like cover bands.
Whoa.
Hey, I told you I've been following you for a while, so I know.
Sir, you cannot prove that statement. That is not admissible in court. Cover band is a great, cover band is another form of art when it comes to music. That's my word, and I'm sticking to it. You can quote me on that. Cover band is artistry. You know that.
Oh my goodness. These are the situations like what just happened right now is what makes me really believe that there are things that happen behind the scenes politically that determine what people say publicly.
True.
Because there is definitely I'll just say politics that are happening in the background of that statement. That is all I'm going to say.
There is not. Listen to me when I tell you. I have played cover band music the majority of last year, and it was absolutely phenomenal. Okay? It was great. We rocked the house, okay? We brought the party down. You know what it is.
Oh my goodness! Hey, listen, we all gotta do what we gotta do to keep the gigs that we got. So,
listen. I got a feeling that tonight is going to be a good night. And not only that, because I'm saved, will be living on a prayer. So you don't stop believing.
Hey, Yababosha.
Reverend, you about to have me run this church.
Listen, at the end of the day, every time you bring up from now on sticks. Every time you bring up how I feel about Michael Jackson singing, I'm gonna ask you about how you feel about cover band. That's how this is gonna work now, forever. We've just figured this out.
I was saying, cover band music is legendary. Okay.
No, but I have a question for Damani.
Okay.
What do you think about Michael Jackson's singing skills?
It's never gonna go away. It's okay. Listen,
we agree he's a legend.
Michael Jackson is a legend.
That's not a problem.
Okay.
That's not the problem.
Okay. Then what is?
What do you think about his singing skills? That's the question.
And I think it's a good question because at the end of the day, we are talking about a legend, right? And anytime you talk about a legend, and I must, you can't laugh yet. Here's the thing. When you're talking about a legend and someone who is such a legend like Michael Jackson, where all aspects of his artistic ability was legendary. So when you ask me what I think of Michael Jackson's singing, yes, he is a legend, and his singing, legendary. That's how it works. That's just how it works. I mean,
do you think he was a good singer?
Telling the truth.
I think he was a legend.
Yes or no?
I think he was a legendary singer.
No, yes or no? That's that.
Yes. No, he wasn't good. He was legendary. Let's just keep it 100. Let's just keep it 100.
You haven't answered my question, though.
How haven't I answered your question? There's only one way to answer this. You said, is Michael Jackson do I think he is a good singer? I say no. I think he's a legendary singer. That's what I think.
You're deflecting, bro.
How is that deflecting?
Come on, bro.
How is it
misdirection? It's misdirection.
How? He asked for a yes or no answer, and I gave him one. He asked for a yes or no answer, and I gave him one.
Wait. This is what you're doing. Look at the screen. Here's what you really think Look at the screen. Look at your computer screen. This is what you really think, but this is what you're saying. Like
that's what you're doing with cover band.
Oh God, no. Oh God, listen to me when I tell you. We are covering the legends like
Michael Jackson.
Aretha Franklin.
Y'all covering Michael Jackson?
We're covering legends like Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, Luther Vandross, the Commodores.
Okay.
We're doing Bruno Mars. These are all people that are high up. Beyonce, she will be a legend. Whenever she passes, she will be an iconic legend. She will be a mogul. You know that.
Period.
So the music that we are playing, the music, when you listen to the original records covering Whitney Houston and Prince and Morris Day and the Time, it is legendary. It is excellent music.
I agree.
You know that.
I would agree with that, but the question is, how does your cover band sound?
They sound exactly like they're supposed to sound, because every time we get a review, listen here, every review we have gotten has been through the roof. On a scale from a 0 to 100, the people that we play for are like, yo, you guys gave 200%, and then they give tips. They're like, hey, here's an extra.
They said you gave 200%, but that is
we sound the way we're supposed to sound, which is excellent.
Okay. I'm not gonna go into any more detail, but if you feel like your cover band sounds excellent, and they most likely do, I haven't been at a gig, so I can't say what of that. But I'm gonna take your word for it, and I believe that you're telling the truth. So you must believe that I'm telling the truth when I say that Michael Jackson is a legend.
Every client says that we sound excellent.
And every time you ask me about Michael Jackson, I say they're a legend. He's a legend. However, clients saying that you sound excellent is independent from how you feel about it.
No, it is not independent. I agree with them 100%.
Okay, so without mentioning the clients, tell me how you feel about it from the bottom of your heart.
Here's the difference. I have in my mix, it sounds excellent. I don't know what the house sounds like.
Okay,
I'm not out there.
So my question is, which do you have the singers? Do you have the singers?
Now, it's not about me, okay? We are here.
Do you have the singers in your mix?
We are here to interview Jasiel. Okay, it's not about me.
He asked me a question and I answered it, and then you
taking away time from my
you guys.
Here we go.
Let me. I have a question for both of you.
Your original music. How does the music sound?
You can't. Hold on. Jay still said he has a question for both of us. Hold on. Let him ask.
And it's just the answer is either a yes or a no.
Sure,
okay.
Sure.
Let's start with the guy on my right, Damani.
Okay. Let's do it.
What do you think of Michael Jackson's singing skills?
I think that...
I repeat, what do you think?
Yes, I will tell you my
Michael
thoughts.
Jackson singing skills.
Okay.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes
he didn't
or
even
no?
ask a yes or no question. He said, what do I think of Michael Jackson?
It's a yes or no.
But you just asked me, what do I think of Michael Jackson's singing skills?
Okay.
Will you just answer, say yes?
I'm going to help you. Hey, I'm going to help you. Yes means it's really good. No means it's trash.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Michael Jackson is a legend. So, of course, it's a yes. But I think that it's higher. I think that it's higher than a yes, and nobody wants to leave the option of legendariness, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to force me to say that I don't like Michael Jackson's singing, which isn't true. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that. It's that you've never answered that question on any podcast.
Yes, I have. I answered it on this podcast.
You always say he's a legend,
and he is,
and no one is disputing that fact. It's just that
Styx is.
You've never. Well,
and then
we're getting to Styx right now.
Well, here's the thing, because you did ask me, we understand that he's a legend, but what do I think of his singing? And I said I think his singing is legendary. So I think that I've answered that question, and I've answered it a bunch of times on other podcasts, because it's legendary. It just is what it is.
Okay. You said yes, so I'm content.
Okay, so he's Styx. You can end this now because he's content.
You know, Styx, I have a question for you too. What do you feel about cover bands?
I don't have any feelings. I've suppressed them. What I think about cover bands I think that in order to sound good, you must rehearse. I think that if you're going to do cover band, you have to do it in an excellent fashion. just like you would do an original band.
Yeah.
Most people that play music, it usually is some sort of cover. Even original bands, they do covers.
Sure.
My favorite form of cover band music is when you are able to take the song and flip it. The first people that I have seen do it and have a lot of views, mind you, they're not the only people to do it, but the first people I see that did a cover tune but did it their own way was Dirty Loops. Yep. When they did the Britney Spears cover.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, hey, listen, I don't play that style of music, but the fact that they took a Britney Spears song and made it sound like that, nothing but respect. Like if you're gonna do a cover,
it was a display of creativity, and I think that's one of the main things that drew me to it as well. Was like, yo, this is a nice display of creativity, of taking a piece. Because
that's true.
At the end of the day, all creation, even if you're making a new song that's an original song or whatever the case is, you're still pulling from elements of things that are already made. You're not pulling from you're not pulling from something that's not already here. It's already here, or there's elements of it. The recipe of it is relatively all the way already here, but to take something that is already made and then it recreate it into something else, even though it's the same song, it may have the same words, it may even have the same melody, but you reharmonize it or whatever the case is. That type of display creativity is always like where it's at, and that's like the whole thing that the Drum Tracks tries to promote now. Like at first we started off with note for note lessons, note for note this and note for note that, and there's nothing wrong with that. We still do some of that. You'll find lessons like that all over the app. However, the reason why we switched to start doing more of these workouts is so that it gives you the tools to actually work on your own creativity. So creativity is really the attractive thing.
That's true. I'm content with your answers.
I'm not content with Sticks' answers, but I'm gonna let it go for now. But it's okay. It's listen, Sticks has been, this is what, podcast 85, 84, something like that. Sticks has been bringing up this doggone Michael Jackson topic from the beginning. So I'm not letting this go right now.
Hey, bro.
This is going to go for another 100.
So you're telling me
that you never answered the question, man.
For 85 podcasts, you still haven't answered the question.
I have answered the question. People just like asking it because you've asked it so many times, and they know that I'm going to tell them the truth every time. You
sound like a Republican.
Okay? Wow. Wow. So now you're going to insult me by calling me the boys in red.
The boys in red. The right-wing Republican.
Oh, my goodness.
You are conservative, bro. Conservative.
I'm conservative. Wait. Well, I'm conservative because I think Michael Jackson is a great legendary artist. That's why I'm conservative. Okay. I don't understand. I don't even understand how this podcast got political.
I have a question for Jasiel. With this original cover band music, do you guys have any recordings that are on iTunes or Spotify or things of that nature? Yeah. If not, do you plan to record any records, any EPs, any albums?
An EP will come out soon. Probably it was supposed to come out this year, I think. I think the problem was with the pandemic that we are in. Man. So that has stalled so many things.
Yes.
But there's music on Apple Music as well.
Okay.
You can check it out. YouTube as well. You know, original music. Yeah, original.
Are you guys as far as the pandemic goes? Are you guys? Is there a lot of people sick around in your area? Also, is social distancing happening over there? Are you not shaking hands? Are you staying 6 to 10 to 12, 50,000 feet away from people? What is it like? Because we got people out here. If you even sneeze sideways, they look at you like you're sick and you got the virus.
Yeah, but also at the same time,
I had you sneezing before the podcast started, and I was like, bro, you sick.
The Rona. No, I'm playing. It's allergy season out here. Here's the thing. In Northern California, at least in the city that we are in, it's like it's opening up. Like it's not all the way open at all, to say the least. However, people are out, and what I mean by that, there's a lot more traffic on the streets of people driving. The freeways are starting to have a little congestion. It's not like it was a month ago when you walked outside, or if you drove in your car somewhere, it just no traffic whatsoever. It looked like it looked like a Christmas holiday where nobody's really driving and nothing's open. That's what it looked like. But now more things are open. There's a lot more people in the stores, like the grocery stores and things like that. and people are starting to go to other people's houses and things of that nature is happening as well. I mean, there are people probably doing that beforehand, but it's happening more, and some businesses have opened up here. But I'm wondering, have you guys been able to flatten the curve at all?
Not really, but well, our cases are almost up to 800 now, countrywide. That is. And then I was telling Sticks earlier, us guys have a curfew, so people are allowed out of the house from 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if 7:01 catches you outside, you're taken to isolation, and
which is pretty much jail.
Yeah, not really, but well, we can call it that in this situation. Yeah, but it's not exciting. So
yeah,
you'd rather stay home, and yeah. So us guys, things are guys here are also getting back to normal. You know, at first it was everywhere looked like Christmas. You know, there's no traffic, people are not going outside, but now with the masks and sanitizers almost everywhere, so business is, I can say, almost back to normal, because there's some places where people really, I wouldn't say people really observe social distancing, but people avoid shaking hands and stuff.
I got you. Are you guys still having church, or is your church shut down too?
Yeah, churches are shut down as well. So we have online services where people go to shoot service and then
record.
Yeah,
they're doing that all over the world, I guess, because they're doing that here too.
Are you able to practice at all? Are you able to go practice still, or no?
Well, so I don't have a drum kit. I have a practice pad though, and so for me, I have to go outside to practice. So
so when you go, where do you go practice at the church, or where do you usually practice?
I used to go practice at the church, but now I go to my friend's place. My friend has a kid, so shout out. Let me give him a shout out.
Yeah,
shout out to Hubu, Gishimu, and Jeff Minor, Radio Dete. By the way, us guys have a podcast as well. We're still young. Yeah, we call the Drum Apostles. Hey, Shaya Boish. Hey, Rababo, Mama say, Mama sa, I felt something. Where is?
I said this before the podcast, but we didn't found another Sticks in Nairobi, Kenya.
There's a shift.
There's been a shift. My
goodness.
Obadiah, in the atmosphere. Obadiah. I felt something.
Reverend. Don't.
What am I gonna do with these clowns? Jeez.
Glory unto the Father.
So
hey, Shayabo.
So have you never owned a drum kit? You just been practicing and you gotten as good as you are?
Yeah, I've never owned a kit.
Wow.
So
therefore, for everybody who has a kit and complain about not being good at the drums, it's
you should just quit the drums.
Man, like we got a guy right here on the podcast who doesn't even have a drum kit, but he finds a way to practice and plays for a band and does recordings and things of that nature. That's crazy, man. And so you're going to school for are you going to school for music right now, or what are you majoring?
No. I'm doing business, finance is what I'm studying.
I'm not even mad at that, because like I get the idea of musicians going to school for going to music school to try to learn as much as they can musically. I totally get that. We also know of a ton of musicians who did not go to school, or who did go to school but they didn't finish school because they were raw before they got there. But like to learn a skill that you can couple with your drumming, right? Like it's good to go all in on being a drummer, but if you don't know anything about business or money or finances or anything, then you can find yourself in a
bit tricky,
right?
Yes.
But if you go to school for something, I kind of like that idea. Like you go to school for something that you can couple and put together with your drumming and say, I want to be a drummer, but I want to know about these things so I could put this together and actually make it work. That actually sounds really smart.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I actually decided to do business. I was just like, I'd really also like to see how I'd merge the skill I have and do business with it. Because, no one wants to stay poor, apart from Sticks, but it's okay.
Yeah. That's from a conversation we had earlier before the podcast started. Oh, my goodness. Sticks wants to be poor. Wow.
But yeah. That's why I actually decided to do business.
Wait.
Yeah.
Side note: is your Facebook or YouTube handle Jazz the Drummer? Is that you?
No.
Okay, I know that's somebody that follows us or watches our live stream. So our podcast live. I thought that was you, but all right, go ahead, continue.
No, but I've written hashtag all the way through in all your podcasts.
Appreciate it.
All of them. All the 85.
If nobody gets it, we know you do, fam. We know you do.
Bring your tithes and offerings. Hey, Reverend Sticks.
Bring the tithes and offering into the storehouse,
oh my God,
Bishop.
I was glad.
The reason why your drumming skills haven't been blessed, because you haven't given back to the church. You got to give God his just due. And we're not talking about just praise and worship. We are talking about tithing and an offering unto God. Will a man rob God?
This is happening. This is really happening right
he
now.
has robbed me. I mean, you come into the storehouse and you don't store anything. It's quiet. You only take. You don't give.
Bless us, Bishop.
There was a reverend that once said in a Christmas service upon last year. He said it's really deep and eloquential. He said if you're not giving, you must not be living.
Wow.
This
has to stop. Whoa, what is going on? And Sticks is shouting right now. I don't know what to do.
My God.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? Hey, everybody in the comments, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. This is ridiculous.
What you're supposed to do is go get the offering basket and go up and down the aisle.
Up and down the aisle. Up and down the aisles of this live stream. You guys are.
That's right. you say give your 10%.
Wow.
In this place.
Wow.
I felt something.
And your drumming will be blessed. See, he will pour you out a blessing.
Jesus. First of all, I can't take it. But you know what? I will post this for everybody on Instagram who missed Sunday service, because you guys are definitely doing your best to take them to church.
Oh, come on. Sticks Ministries.
Wow. Wow.
He's on fire.
Wow. So here's this.
See, the Bible says where 2 or 3 are gathered. So if you take $100 bill and gather it with 2 or 3 more.
Sticks, real quick. Marcus Kemp and Sam Campbell has suggested that you fire up the organ. He's actually gonna do it. Yo, you should actually take your camera over there, since you're on the Zoom call on your phone. And it wasn't just that he got. It wasn't just that he's probably turning it on. It's not just that he got up. It's how he got up. It was just ridiculous. This is insane.
Reverend, the organ is on.
No, they actually want you. I think they want you to play it.
I'm not an organ.
Oh, okay. Hey, Jasiel, was he not firing up the organ right before the podcast started?
He was.
See,
he was,
and that's why you shouldn't believe what he's saying about how he feels about cover band, because he's not telling the truth about that.
Whoa, Jasiel, what organ did you see?
I heard it.
He heard it in the spirit, huh?
Oh, so Damani pulled up an organ sound in Pro Tools and live.
Oh my gosh!
Oh, Damani wasn't there.
He wasn't there. Come on, tell the truth. Come on and tell the truth.
He wasn't.
Come on.
You see, when you tell the truth, the truth shall set you free.
Come on.
You know.
Listen. I might not have felt it before, but I felt something right there.
Listen. Damani said, "I got to get this thing together in Logic." Did he not say that at the beginning of the podcast.
No. See, listen, you're.
Well,
Yes, he did.
Come on, y'all.
Amen and
I
amen.
can't remember that.
Look, Blake the Great even said you might as well put us in C#. Blake the Great said you might as well go and put us in C#, bro. You know the organ is where you at.
I don't know what.
Bro,
I don't know what that
they've
means.
seen. Yeah, okay, they've seen the
Is that
organ in
4-4?
the studio.
Is that 4-4 or 6-8?
Oh my gosh, bro. Again, this is why you don't believe anything he said about the cover band. But anyway, anyway.
Cover band is 4-4, bro.
Oh,
you know that.
Is it? I thought you had perfect pitch. You always say that. Oh,
Cover band is 4-4.
Oh my goodness, bro. Listen. Before we get towards the end of this podcast, man, I want to give Jasiel an opportunity to ask us any more questions that he may have, that he may want to ask us, anything that you may feel like we can answer for you.
Yeah. Funny enough, there's one thing I encountered, something I was watching on YouTube recently on Drumeo. By the way, I feel like you guys should be on Drumeo. I don't know about you, but I feel that.
Hey, Jared. We was on the podcast, Drumeo Gab podcast.
Yeah, we did. We definitely did the podcast.
You did it, but not the lessons yet.
No.
Nah, we haven't done lessons on their site.
I feel like you guys should do something there. You guys you're amazing. You're amazing guys, and you inspire a lot of people. So I had a question. I had this terminology where someone was saying you bury the beater on the bass drum, and I really didn't understand what it really meant when you bury or not burying the beater on the bass drum. So
I think that has a lot to do with the sound you're trying to get. Sticks, I'll let you explain. I'll let you explain more about that though.
So what is
he was
the
talking
question?
about burying the beater into the bass drum.
Yeah, I heard that. I didn't hear the question. I heard the statement.
He was saying
burying.
Go ahead.
What does it actually mean when someone says they bury the beater on the bass drum?
Yeah. So here's the bass drum. Here's the beater. Burying means it just stays on when you after you play. You push it in.
Oh.
When you take it off, you go like this. So basically, like he said, you want the sound that you want. If you want more of a thud, if you want the drum to die quicker, you do this. So just boom, boom. But if you want, it also depends on how you tune your kit.
Yep.
But especially for like jazz drummers who tune their bass drum higher to sound more like a tom, you have to pull off. You have to not bury it so it can actually ring.
Yep.
It's like dum, duh. So I like to bury mine. Even if you don't tune your kit as a jazz kit, a bop kit, even if you're playing like church, there is a difference. Not many will be able to tell, but drummers who know sound and know tone, you can tell when someone is burying the kick drum and when they're not burying the kick drum. Now, the reason why it would be hard, especially playing in like black church, is because everything's loud. Like you're supposed to play loud. You're not supposed to be playing quiet. But if the drum is playing by itself, you can hear the difference. It'll sound like if you take your beater off of the kick drum, if you don't bury it, it sounds similar to an 808, like boom, 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 boom.
Again, depending on how you tune your kick drum and how much muffling you have inside the kick drum as well.
All right.
Because some people some people muffle the kick drum. Some people just put a pillow inside. Some people put an entire comforter set. I've seen people do it because they don't want that.
People here put blankets.
Yeah, blankets, the whole nine. They don't want the kick drum to ring. They just want it to just poof, poof, just stop that sound.
Hey, man, tell all your friends stop putting the blankets in there, bro. It's terrible. All you need is one pillow. Just don't choke the drum. We used to do it.
I think it all depends on the sound that you're actually going for. Because if there may be,
they don't know any better. They don't know any better. like I didn't know any better. Just tell them to take the blanket out.
Yeah, I mean,
take it out.
I would agree. But what I'm saying is that there's you remember the drums from the 70s and the toms and how dead they all sounded and how sometimes they even sound like it was the same drum tuned the same way, like going around the kid.
Perfect Peace Baptist Church, brother.
Say what?
It sound like Perfect Peace Baptist Church.
Come on, watch out. Now,
Wait. The political aspects behind what you just said, but behind what you said, it exists.
Stop it.
See, you don't know. We'll talk about it off camera, but there's an aspect, the reason why he answered the way that he answered.
First of all, you need to tell the people how you feel about cover band, and you need to tell people how you feel about the cover band you play.
Tell people how you feel about the church kit at Perfect Peace Baptist Church.
There is no Perfect Peace Baptist Church. What are you talking about? That church doesn't exist. That church doesn't exist. What are you talking about?
It doesn't exist anymore, but you know what I'm talking about.
I'm literally clueless. But what I can tell you is that the drum kit because I play at 3 churches right now. I'm not gonna mention any names, but at one of the churches I play at.
No, don't do that. You have played at Perfect Peace Missionary Baptist Church.
I've never played drums at Perfect Peace Missionary Baptist Church. What are you talking about?
You play keys, Brody. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Which church is this? He's not admitting to.
I'm not admitting to. The church doesn't exist anymore. It's literally not even.
Let me ask my final question. I try to remember to ask it at the end of every podcast. No particular order. Who are your top 5 favorite drummers? Your Mount Rushmore. Jasiel. No particular order. Just give me your top 5.
So Tony Taylor Jr.
Okay.
He has to be one of my top guys. Well, the list is long.
No, we're doing 5. Top 5.
Right,
there's no long.
And there's no particular order in 5. Like if you name Tony Taylor first, the next person, just because you're naming them second, doesn't mean that they're like below. This is just the top 5, all in the same tier.
Oh wait, his video froze. It looks like. Oh, there we go. He's back.
Okay, so my inspirations include Tony Taylor Jr., Mike Mitchell.
Beast.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mike is on dummy. Come on.
Yes.
So
period.
And
by dummy we mean good.
Of course, like that.
Yeah.
Known. Of course.
Come on, Bishop. Who else? Eric Moore.
Come on, it's quiet.
Enrique.
Okay.
Moore. Signature.
Yes, baby.
Hey.
Wow.
Come on. Hey. We gotta turn up here.
This podcast has just
it's
been
a party.
This podcast has been full of debauchery. That I can say. But
we got 2 more, Doc.
Real quick though, I'm confused on how you got from Enrique More's signal chair to Happy New Year's out of nowhere. That was special. All right, go ahead.
Hey man.
Okay, we're not doing this.
It is.
We are not doing this.
Drum coach somebody.
Obviously, come on.
Very political answer. I'm not gonna lie. Politically correct answer. He's on the podcast. He has to say it. Come on, give us 2 more outside of drum coach somebody, because we know he's nobody's favorite drummer.
Okay, number 5, and then we get to the comments.
Let me give 7. So, of course, the money as well. And,
no, that's it.
We're definitely. That's what I'm saying. We're political right now.
You've been disqualified.
Wow.
You've been disqualified.
Wow.
Pause. I'm not done.
No, that's it.
Let him do his next 2.
Wait.
Okay.
Sharik is also there, and
Sharik Tucker?
Yes, and Calvin Rogers, and Sticks Taylor. Oh my God, there's so many.
There's a lot of good drummers.
It's a long list.
It is. There's a lot of guys. It's hard to keep it to 5, man. But look, let's hit these comments before we hop off this podcast real quick. We got Marcus Kip in the building. Shout out to you, Charles Gray. Shout out to you, Glenn Zoka. He said when he first walked in here, he says he feels the spirit moving.
Hey,
in this place.
Yeah.
My God,
come on.
Today it is quiet in this.
Where
place.
is your tithes and offerings?
Darius D Dubs Bay says, "Oh, bless his name." What up, though? He also says he says big up to the left-handed drummers. Shout out to y'all.
Woo!
Blake the Great's in
Thank
the
you.
building. Turner J. Lawhorn is in the building. Seth Guya is in the building.
Woo! That's my Brody. That's my bro.
Yes, sir. Marcus Campbell's trying to get me to answer the question. Blake the Great in here talking about call him out. Y'all foul, man. Sam Campbell, he got my back though. He says he's a good singer, making him legendary. Sam has spoken. Amen to that. Amen and yay, man. Let's say Blake the Great. At some point when you guys were doing your debauchery, he says, "Go ahead and end the podcast, Damani." just go ahead and end it, bro. Just call it. You're right. I should have did it too. This is a problem.
That would have been funny. It just go black screen like, oh, that's the guy.
Yeah, Sam Campbell, when you guys were going in and preaching, he felt the spirit and says he has his offering ready and in hand to receive his blessing with his name
the
on
Lord.
It is quiet.
Yeah.
Oh. So yeah, that's pretty much
That's
pretty much the comments. Everybody is in there. Sam has some more comments. The Drumio is not ready for the true anointing. Oh my goodness.
I told you.
The true anointing.
When the spirit. Come on.
I'm not responding to that one. He's Sam, Deacon, you are my deacon. You be wilding because he will go on the grid.
Sam be
He
on
will
it.
go in the comment section and post that on their page. I'm like, bro, I can't with you today.
Oh man,
we support you though.
Yeah. No, nothing but love to Drumio though. They're doing their thing.
Yeah.
Sam.
Yo,
says,
guys.
Yes, sir.
I had one more question before.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna let you ask that question. I just want to get through the last few bits of these comments. Sam says,
Sure.
Peace only exists in Jesus Christ. That's what he put in the comments.
Oh,
man.
And Blake the Great says, I felt that, Sam. Yo, you know what? I think I'm gonna do a montage video on Instagram one of these days of all the time Sticks is speaking in tongues on the podcast. That would be hilarious. Hey, you're not gonna escape, Jasiel. You'll be in it too.
What?
Every time, what I'll do is I'll just have like anytime I think there's a dope drum fill on a video, I'll just insert a video of Sticks. Yo, that's the one right there. That is the one. All right, Jay, before we hop off, go ahead with your question, brother. We hit answer.
I was telling you guys I followed you for a while, and I just wanted to ask, how do you guys remain relevant and work in remaining relevant to yourselves, even though you have people like Eric Moore who inspire you so much, and as much as you borrow so much from him, how do you get to still remain with your own sound and not sound like him? And someone can tell, oh, that's Namani playing and that's Somari playing, as much as this guy has influence on you, heavy influence on you.
I have an answer for myself. I know Sticks has an answer for himself. I'm gonna let Sticks go first.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. My initial answer is I listen to more than just one drummer. And so I pull from everyone that I do follow. So I'm more of I think we all are in our own way, but I'm more of a melting pot. I'm like gumbo. So there's a hint. There's pieces of Eric in my playing. There's pieces of Ronald in my playing. There's pieces of Thomas Pridgeon, pieces of Tony Royster, pieces of like all these drummers that I watch and follow. Pieces of Vinnie Caluta, pieces of Dave Weckl, Chris Coleman. Now, I am nowhere near their level. So even the pieces that I take from them, in my opinion, I can't do it like they're doing it. I can't play it as fast as they're playing it. I can't phrase it the exact same way, but I have my rendition of it. So that alone, even if I was to watch only Eric the whole time, The fact that I can't play it exactly like him, there'll be a differentiation. You'll hear the influence, but there'll be a difference because it's like, well, you don't sound exactly like him.
Yeah.
Same way, even if you repeated the exact same sentence as me, the tone in your voice sounds different. They'll know that I'm talking versus when you're talking or versus when Damani's talking. And we'll say the exact same sentence. I'm going to the store. You're going to the store. He's going to the store. But even though we're saying the same words, it's like, well, different voices. So that's how that is as far as if I was to watch just one person. But because I don't watch just one person, I am a melting pot of everyone that I am influenced by. Then the other thing that is, like I said, I'm not as good as them. The other thing is I have the typical in my mind of how things are supposed to sound based on what I've listened to and watched all of these years. And so in the middle of me playing, when I can recognize, you know what, at the end of this lick, it's probably going to do this little thing around the top. Bam. So in the middle of doing that, I go, don't end it that way. And sometimes it's a train wreck. Like it sounds really bad because we're used to going bam and being done. But in the middle of it, if I tell myself don't end it that way, I get lost. And watch this. This is how I found some inspiration in my own playing. When I get lost, whatever I got lost in, I try to duplicate that. I try to duplicate the mistake and then crash on the one. So it sounds like the bam. I'm like, okay, I don't know what that was terrible. But let me try to go back and play that exact same mistake. And then when you play that mistake with confidence, bam, it's like, oh, what was I? So there was my version of being able to not sound like anybody else. Try my best to not do the typical thing. Obviously, it doesn't happen every single time, but that's what I did for me. Now, that was a long, elongated answer. I'm done. Hopefully that answers your question. On to De Mornay Road.
Thank you so much.
So the question was, how do you stay relevant to yourself? How do you try to keep your own sound? I say two things. I'm going to answer it in two parts. Number one, I'm going to answer it with your own sound type thing first. Your own sound, I always relate music to language, and just like children who learn how to talk, babies, toddlers who are learning how to talk, they learn how to talk by repeating things that they've heard other people say. I'm a huge proponent of transcribing. I think that it's something that we should do, even if it's not transcribing, if you can't hear it note for note, but to get as close to a rendition of that as you can. On the piano, because I do play the keys, I actually try to transcribe different people's solos or pieces of people's solos or pieces of people's chord progressions or whatever that they're playing, so that I can then have that vocabulary to experiment with forming my own thoughts. So just like a child who learns how to speak when they're young by mimicking what other people say, at a certain point they begin to take the words that they've learned and use them to get their point across with their own thoughts. And so that, to me, is how you find your own voice, is by building your vocabulary. Number one, the ability to be able to play certain things and to have certain vocabulary and to be able to say certain words, but then using these words to formulate your own ideas. When you go to your practice session, instead of, it's not that you shouldn't practice your rudiments, and it's not that you shouldn't practice just grooves. Like, you should practice those things, but you should also have a time where you're like, okay, I am now here in discovery mode with the language and vocabulary that I have on the kit. Yes, I know how to play doubles. I know how to put my feet in between my hands when I'm doing drum fills. I know how to do these things. I learned how to play this one Calvin Rogers lick. Okay, so now how can I take this vocabulary that I have and apply it in a way that puts out an original thought with the same tools that everyone else has been using? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you take the vocabulary.
I get you.
Yeah, you take the vocabulary that you learn. So that's a way of building your own voice, and it's really taking the same language that we all use and trying to put your ideas around it. People who have their own voice tend to be creative. They tend to go in and be like, okay. And it starts off with learning how other people are doing things and learning it their way, and you sounding like someone else at first until you're able to start forming your own thoughts. Because in the beginning, you're not able to articulate your own thoughts yet. But after a while, after you copy people long enough and you kind of, I understand why he used this here. He was trying to get this point across, but I'm trying to get this point across, and I don't know if this will fit for that, but I can take this over here that does and mash them together. and then experimenting with things like Stick says, like, hey, I was gonna make a mistake here, but I'm gonna use that mistake as a catalyst for creativity and see what I can turn this into, because a mistake is just an idea I wasn't trying to do, but it's still an idea. So you can take that idea and mold it into something that is actually usable. Does that make sense? And nobody, and that mistake,
I get you.
And that mistake will be unique to you. Of course, I'm saying to do all of this in your practice time and not necessarily like on the gig, right?
Yeah.
And then as far as staying relevant, I think that has a lot to do with what you listen to. And Sticks talked about his style being a gumbo, and a lot of people kind of use that analogy, and it's a good one. However, while there are different pieces in a gumbo or in a stew or in whatever they want to call it, or a soup, all soups, all gumbos, all stews have a base. They have a roux. They have the main broth that is the thing that everything is in. It has its foundation, right? And like any other sauce would, right? Some people make a sauce with butter and wine. Some people make a sauce out of balsamic vinegar and reduce it till it's a balsamic reduction. I like to cook. If you guys don't know that about me yet, I like food and I'm a foodie. But anyway, some people make sauces with cream, right? So what I'm saying is, I'm bringing all this up to
his face.
I'm bringing all this up to say that every now and then, when you're really when you're being creative and you're trying to change what you're doing, sometimes you may want to change that base. Sometimes you can have the same ingredients with a cream sauce and the whole thing is different. I can have pasta and shrimp, but I can make it with a marinara sauce, or I can make it with a Alfredo sauce, or I can make it with, you see what I'm saying? Or I could change the pasta. And so like not being afraid to recreate yourself, to go from a version of yourself to something different, to stay relevant and current, and to stay pushing yourself forward, to not be satisfied with where you are. Like, I am at this place, this is good. And it's not to say that where you're going next is better. It could just be different, but not being afraid to actually move to some other place that you have to explore and it's new again, and then to keep you fresh as long as you continue to stay on the forefront of exploring the musicality of your instrument in that way. So I know I just said a whole lot. I hope that something sticks. If not, you can go back and watch it again on the podcast and try to pick out something.
I get you. I've understood what the both of you are trying to say about picking pieces from everyone and trying to create it in your own way, and not just picking something from the way you heard it and trying to just play it exactly the same way, and trying to
but that's a
put
start.
some
It's okay to start there. It's okay to start with learning something note for note, or to hear something and be like, I want to know how to do that because I can't do that. But that doesn't mean that you have to use it in the same exact way. It means that you may initially in the beginning, and that's okay too. But when you're trying to find your own voice, all it is really trying to use those tools, that lick, the principles from that lick that you learned, to be able to now form your own thoughts and put that out into the world. And that takes a lot of experimentation.
As a last note to that, to piggyback on what he's saying, the best way that I found to do it is downloading the Drum Tracks app, because we have drumless play along where there is no drummer for you to copy.
Hey,
Play to the music.
I felt
you can play to the music the licks that you are trying to emulate, obviously. Yes. But after that lick is over, the music is still playing, so you still have to keep going. And it makes it easier for you to find your own voice, because it's like when you don't have the music, what people tend to do is, hey, I played the lick 1 time, 2 times, got it down, cool, woo, yay, and you're done. Right. It's like, yo, that took you 15 seconds. But the music, the track, some tracks are 10 minutes long. I mean, they may be loops. Some of the older play-alongs are full songs, verses, choruses, bridge, tags, outros, vamps, that whole situation. So now that you done played that lick within the first 15 seconds, what are you going to do for the next 4 minutes? Well, this is where you have to find your own voice. You have to explore your creativity.
Right.
You're not going to, I guarantee you're not going to play the Aaron Spears lick 1,700 times during a song. But that's retarded.
Because I know. That's not even playing with your own voice. That's just, I know this lick, so I'm going to throw it in here. And that's not fine. That is the opposite of what we're talking about.
So yeah, you have to download the app if you want to stay relevant to yourself. All in all,
I mean, at the end,
you have to download the app.
It's
and you have to pay your tithes and offering to get access to all the videos.
So I think I'm gonna take.
Something.
I think I'm gonna take Blake the Great's advice and end the podcast now. So. Listen, Jasiel, we appreciate you. Yo, his Instagram is underneath his video, as you can see on the screen. It's been there the whole time. You guys go follow him. Say what's up to him. Let him know you saw him and heard him on the podcast. And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, fam?
Thank you, man. Peace.
Peace. And it is ended, guys.